That's me crossing the finishing line, and I'm about to cry my eyes out. I got so overwhelmed by the experience that I stopped recording and I put my camera away. I ran the TCS Toronto Marathon, and this taught me 4 important lessons, out of which the last one is something that is very personal and not a lot of runners talk about. This entire journey has absolutely changed my perspective about myself and about certain things. So why did I run a marathon? Have you ever looked at a person running on a street or at a park and wondered, why is this person running? Or asked your coworker how their weekend was and they reply with, oh, I just ran a 10 kilometer just for fun. And in your mind you're thinking, that sounds terrible. I would have the same reaction and would think, there's no way you can make me run more than 5 minutes. But 2 years ago, I saw some runners outside the window and I decided to lace up and see for myself how far can I sustain. Not to my surprise, I lasted an entire 3 minutes 40 seconds. But ever since then, I tried to push myself a little further every time I went for a run, which ended up me signing for 10K runs, and a year later, I signed up for my first half marathon. But then, I finally made a courageous decision. I signed up for my first full marathon. I was way out of my depth. As a person who considered themselves as a non-runner their entire life, this was a bold move. But sometimes you have to set some goals that you fail to see in this moment. Something that you think is impossible or hard to do. We must try to shoot for stars, chase the rainbows. Because what if in the process you start believing the impossible is possible and you find yourself walking towards the start line of a marathon? Imagine this. You train for an entire year. You wake up early, you go for your runs after your work, and you put your reps in the gym. You do everything possible, you focus on your diet, and you get in shape. But 3 weeks before your marathon race, you end up getting injured. You sprain your right ankle while playing pickup football. Well, my ankle gets sprained so bad that I can't put any pressure on it, and I can barely walk on it. To the point where I have to call in sick at work, just because I can't stand on my feet and my work requires me to stay on my feet the entire time. This taught me to expect the unexpected. A storm can come from anywhere without a sign of a cloud. Things may happen to you at the least expected time. Keeping a positive mindset and having my focus on the goal became even more valuable at this point. This taught me to take a step back, reassess your situation, plan your next move, and it may look different than what you initially planned, but it's still a step closer to your goal. So, I'm running the race. At this point, I'm 29 kilometers in my marathon. I feel great. I have my nutrition and my gels locked in. My legs are feeling awesome. I'm running a 6.40 kilometer pace and I'm enjoying my run. Then I see my friend and I start running towards him. And as I'm doing that, I feel an incredible cramp in my left calf. It was the worst cramp I've ever felt. We both are looking at my calf muscle just pulsating. Until then, I was so zoned in that it caught me off guard. I looked at my friend with confusion and in disbelief. I had a look of fear on my face and asked him what to do, knowing very well what I'm supposed to do when my leg cramps up. I started stretching my calf and I thought to myself, does this mean my race is over? That's when I caught myself and then told myself that even if I have to walk this marathon, I will. And that's exactly what I did. For the next 13 kilometers, it was a mix of walk and jog. At every 10-15 steps, I would have to stop and stretch my muscles because my muscles were cramping up so bad. During this time, I had to dig deep and go to a place in me that I did not know existed before this. That's when I learned there are layers to me. Nevertheless, it was a struggle fest throughout. I realized there is a version of myself that is willing to push limits even in the face of adversity. I learned I don't quit easily, and I will only stop when the race is over. This experience taught me only to stop when you're done, not when you feel like you're done. And we are stronger than we think we are. I finally crossed the finish line. This was the hardest physical thing I've ever done. I tear up at the finish line, but I was also relieved that the race was over. I was happy and excited to see my friends, and then I head home to take some much needed rest. But then I noticed something strange. Instead of feeling happy and proud that I finished a marathon and I ticked something off my bucket list, I felt sad and low for days to come. I started to feel very unmotivated, and nothing at work or at home excited me anymore. I don't know why I was feeling this way, but I felt completely lost during this time. During all this, my body was still trying to recover from the race, and it was a very bizarre feeling. I feel like the experience took such a toll on me that I was avoiding to have any conversation about the race with the people who were trying to congratulate me. I didn't even look at my race stats, medal, or even my race photos. In fact, I didn't even feel like making this video. But then I did some quick search and I learned about post-marathon blues. During my days leading up to marathon, I searched tons of video about marathon and marathon training. And I noticed not a lot of people talked about this topic. I feel like if I was more aware, I would have handled my marathon blues very differently. This is why I thought it is also important to talk about this alongside all the other things that a marathon teaches you. The post-marathon blues taught me that highs are often followed by lows, and that it is a reminder to myself that highs and lows are a temporary state of being. Whatever it is, it shall pass. But with all that being said, will I run a marathon again? And the answer is yes. I got to experience and learn all these lessons over such a short period of time. It was possible because I took this task of running a marathon. This journey taught me a lot about myself. It solidifies the feeling. If we put our minds to it, it becomes the matter of when we can achieve it and not if we can achieve it. It also makes me wonder, what other mental barriers are we putting on ourselves? And what other feats can we achieve if we pushed our limits? I hope this video inspires you to take up a challenge in your life. And if that challenge happens to be a running one, then here's a video on how to run your first 5 kilometers and start your own running journey.